Hello, it's Jennifer from heysealemon. Every time I go into the craft store, I feel like I walk by the tie-dye aisle and I'm like, this year I am going to try tie-dye. And I never do, but this year I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So I'm finally trying tie-dye and it is my first time, believe it or not. In this video, I will show you 2 designs you can try. The most common is the swirl tie-dye, and then I'm going to show you how to try a heart. Being that this is my first tie-dye project, I thought that I would encounter some kind of hiccups along the way, but it's surprisingly easy, especially if you're using one of those tie-dye kits, and I will include the one that I used in the video description below, and I will include links down there as well. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I upload something new every week, so you don't want to miss any of my videos, and tell me in the comments below which of the tie-dye designs is your favorite. Also hit that like button so I know you like this type of DIY, and let's get into it. Here is the tie-dye kit that I'll be using, and this isn't sponsored, but I just really like how easy this is to use. It includes 3 colors of dye, 2 sets of gloves, and a bunch of rubber bands. The instructions are really helpful. It comes with a bunch of ideas and guides on how to achieve those designs, and the steps are pretty easy to follow. First, I'm going to prepare my workspace with a sheet of plastic so the dye doesn't get everywhere and stain everything. The instructions also say to put down a layer of paper towel, but I figured this would be enough. If you're using new fabric, you want to pre-wash it, and I'm going to use the wet technique, so I just left them damp straight out of the wash. First one I'm going to try is the swirl design. This is usually done in the middle of the shirt, but honestly you can pick any location you want. Start by pinching an area and hold it while you swirl the shirt around the pinched area. If your fabric is damp, you might have to kind of work with it and just whirl it around the pinched area. Move the ends around so you get a circular swirl, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Then to hold that shape, you're going to wrap the rubber bands around the fabric. The placement is really up to you. I'm going to do 1 straight across, and then 1 diagonal to the right and a diagonal to the left. I wrapped my shirt so I have 6 even sections made by the bands. And if you find yours doesn't look like a perfect circle, that's totally okay. Mine doesn't look exactly like the picture and it turned out fine. Now for the heart shape, I have my second t-shirt here and I'm going to fold that in half. So you have the folded edge running along the center of the t-shirt. I wanted to keep these shirts damp before dyeing them, and I live in a really dry climate so things dry really fast here, so I just used a spray bottle to dampen them again. Now to draw the heart, you want to use a washable marker so that you won't be able to see it when you wash the fabric. You're going to draw a half heart along the folded edge, and you can make this any size you want. Now starting at one end, you want to gather the fabric together. And while you're pinching and holding it together, you want to do it in a straight line. This may seem weird around the curved part of the heart, but you just want to keep working with it and moving the shirt so that the line you made is straight. And then you can wrap a rubber band around that straight line. Then I'm going to add another band next to that one, and this section will be for another color, which will make kind of an outline around the heart. And I wrapped around more rubber bands around those sections just to tighten those areas, and these areas will be the white in the tie-dye. Next, I'm going to mix the dye by adding water to each of the colors. Probably doesn't hurt to wear gloves on this part because some of the dye does get on the outside of the bottle, which can get on your hands. I filled them to the line and then put the caps back on. Alright, now I have the gloves on. I'm going to shake each of the bottles until the color is completely dissolved. First up is the swirl, and I'm going to apply color to each of the sections. And just to work faster, I put the dye on the sections across from each other, which also makes an even pattern. So after the green, I then put the pink down, and then the purple. Then flipped it over and repeated that same process on the other side. And making sure to match the colors that are on the other side. And for the heart design, I did a similar process. I put the pink down first where the heart will be, made the middle section green, and the outside purple, which will be the outside of the shirt. If you get too much dye on the plastic, it helps to have a paper towel on hand to wipe it away so it doesn't mess with the design that you're working on, but I do see now why they say to put down a layer of paper towel. So you can do that if you want to avoid a messy pool of dye. Then flip it over and repeat those colors on the other side. You can see I dripped some purple into the green section and I accidentally combined some of the colors. If that happens to you, don't worry too much about it. Tie-dye is kind of messy looking in general, so if you have some happy accidents, it just looks like it's part of the design. Next, you're going to wrap your fabric, and you can do this with the wrap that's on your table or some plastic wrap. I'm going to use these plastic bags. This will keep the fabric damp, and you're going to let the dye set for 6 to 8 hours. Then take it out of the plastic and rinse your fabric to remove excess dye. And you'll want to put the gloves back on for this part so you don't stain your hands. Then cut off any rubber bands. I then unwrapped the shirts so I can see the final tie-dye design, and I was quite happy with how it turned out. I really wasn't sure what they would look like. But before I can wear them, I gave them one more wash in the machine, following the instructions that came with the kit. After that, here are my final tie-dye shirts. I really like how this swirl turned out, and if you want to, you could dye more projects than I did here, because the kit actually says it can dye up to 9 projects. So these are just a couple, and now I'm thinking, like, how many other things can I tie-dye? I love how the heart turned out. You could also try this design on a tote bag, or try just any of the designs on any fabric you want to. I hope you try this out and have fun with your own tie-dye design, and if you do, I would love to see your project pictures, so share those with me on my social links and add a hashtag #heysealemon. If there's a project that you want to see on this channel, be sure to leave it in a comment below. I love reading your requests, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to learn how to draw tie-dye, I have another tutorial for that. I will put that over here along with another DIY you can try. All of these links will be down below, and I will see you guys next week with a new video. Bye!